Okay, so hi, welcome to this session of mindful yoga. So just want to introduce myself. My name's Jackie and I'm broadcasting to you from Spain. So I live in Valencia city in Spain where I teach yoga and mindfulness. But actually at the moment I'm not there. I'm in the mountains in a region called Castilla de la Mancha. Just kind of ended up here in a very beautiful place. So I feel very lucky to be here during this difficult time. And yeah, so I teach yoga, basic hatha yoga, with a focus or an emphasis on mindfulness, on awareness. So so it's just inviting you to really to be in the body. So I think my philosophy is that yoga is a vehicle, one of many different ones, to be in the body, to move the body, to reduce tension, to enjoy the body, enjoy movement. And it's a way of moving into also difficult emotions or difficult uncomfortable feelings or pain in the body. And also a way of working with the mind as well. So my focus is a mind-body approach, and to do this both through movement and through awareness, the practice of mindfulness. So rather than trying to achieve a particular position or pose or posture, I hope to help people to more just guide them into different ways of being with the body and using yoga as that way to do that. So I hope that explains a little bit about my approach. Okay. So we're going to start today with a short mindfulness seated practice, okay, where I'm going to guide you through it. And I have a singing bowl, which a neighbour lent me because mine is at home in my flat in Valencia. And how beautiful was that actually I came across this beautiful singing bowl, and it was lent to me by one of my 9 neighbours in this very small village. So I'm happy about that. And so I'll be using that I'll ring the bell at the end of the practice. And then we'll start to do some movements. So it'll be quite a gentle class today, just as you're getting to know me. And depending a little bit on the feedback, we might go a little bit stronger with the practice, or we'll keep it at this level. So we'll see how it goes. But I would love to get your feedback, whoever this gets to in the world. Please write to me through the Hive, and let me know how you found the class, and anything else you'd like to share. Okay, so welcome, and this will be an hour. So I'm going to invite you to find a seated posture. Now, if you're someone who has a lot of pain in the back, then it's fine to lie down and do the practice. Okay. Sitting or lying now, getting yourself ready. So finding a comfortable seated posture. So it's really important that you're comfortable. I'm seated on the floor and I am sitting on a cushion. Yeah, you can sit on a chair, you could sit on your sofa. We want to try and make the back upright as possible, which is why I'm using a cushion. So I'm just sitting on the edge of my cushion, and that often allows for more support of the lower back and then the whole of the spine. So this sort of supports the pelvis, and if I can support the pelvis, in my seated posture, I'm more likely to be more comfortable in the back. Okay, so without this support, I might tend to sit like this, which is, we end up then crunching in the lower back and possibly ending up with back pain. But this support under the buttocks allows me then to just lift the pelvis a bit, and that supports my upright, nice straight back. Okay, but when we have pain in the back, it can be even more useful to support it with a chair, the back of a chair, the wall. Yeah. So up to you finding your seated posture. You can be cross legs like me, you could be kneeling, you could have your legs stretched out in front of you. Yeah, just to say, if I start suddenly bringing in Spanish, I normally teach yoga in Spanish. So I hope I won't suddenly switch languages, but you never know. Sometimes words can slip in there. So just to warn you about that. Okay, so finding your seated posture. So I've got a blanket here because it's a bit chilly. You might want to put a blanket around you. And for this short practice, I'm going to invite you to keep the eyes closed. Now, sometimes people prefer to keep their eyes open. So if you prefer that, then just maybe half opening the eyes and looking at the floor in front of you, and avoid looking around the room. So we're going to be doing a practice today where we're going to be paying attention to the breath and the body, so mindful awareness of body and breath, but a very short practice. If you've never done mindfulness before, then I just invite you to just follow the guide, open to what may occur. So inviting you to start to settle down into your seated position or lying down position. And start by just gently feeling into the contact between the body and the floor, body and the ground. So when we do this, we can ground. It's a way of grounding ourselves and feeling this sense of the earth supporting us in our practice, in our meditation, mindfulness practice today. And now starting to feel the contact between the buttocks and the cushion or the floor or the chair. And again, we can ground through the buttocks and the legs. And seeing if you can take the awareness into your posture. So becoming aware of the back and the spine, neck and the head at the top. And so just noticing and feeling into the body. Noticing perhaps how the spine rises up from the pelvis and reaches up towards the sky. Neck and then the head balancing on the top. Now inviting you just to gently become aware of the hands, so where the hands are, and their contact with each other or with the body, the floor. And feeling into the hands, so how do the hands feel? So we're not thinking about the hands, we're taking our awareness into the hands. And now inviting you to start to bring the awareness down onto the breath. So perhaps choosing to put one hand on the belly, perhaps a hand on the chest. And just spending a few moments here observing the movement of the breath in the belly as the body breathes. And so during the practice, we may find that thoughts distract us from where we're placing the attention. So we may get distracted and wander off. And that's absolutely fine, that's totally normal. What the mind does is wander and think. And we can just gently and kindly guide the awareness back to the breath every time we notice the mind has wandered. And so we may have to do this many times, and that's okay. And every time we notice we've wandered off, we gently come back. In a non-judging and not criticizing ourselves for having wandered off. Just paying attention to the rhythmic flow of the breath moving in and out the body. Now gently starting to widen out the awareness into the whole of the body and the breath. The body seated in the chair, on the floor. Exhaling and grounding down through the legs and the feet. We're coming back into contact with the floor and the ground again. And gently starting to become aware of thoughts and perhaps any emotions. Becoming aware now, widening out to sounds in the space you're in, or perhaps to the sound of my voice. We gradually now start to bring this practice to a close, perhaps starting to wiggle the toes, move the fingers. And when you're ready, opening the eyes. Okay, so just welcoming you back now. And we're going to start to move. So if you feel like having a stretch, listening into the body and how it wants to move. And we're going to stay in our seated position. So you might just want to stretch the legs out and move them a bit. Shake them around a little bit before we carry on. Just to relax them a little. Okay, and then come back into your seated position. So that could be crossed leg, it could be kneeling, or it could be with your legs extended out in front of you. Okay, and so we're just going to start to work with the arms a little bit. So I'm going to get you to interlace your fingers, yeah, and then so move the palms so they're facing outwards. And we're going to inhale and stretch up to the sky. And exhale. And I want you to relax your shoulders. So we often raise our shoulders when we stretch. So we're not going to do that. We're going to just keep our shoulders relaxed and just let the arms move into a full stretch. A little bit of attention on the breath. And then exhale the arms down. Okay. And we're going to do it again. We're going to change the way we link the fingers. So if we were doing that before, we're now going to change the interlace. And we're going to move the palm so it's facing outwards again. And we're going to stretch up again, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. And really just stretching the arms. So feeling the contact with the ground through the sitting bones. Perhaps through the legs if you're kneeling. Taking a couple of breaths. Exhaling the arms down. Lovely. Okay, great. Now we're going to do a little bit of a side stretch. So I'm going to move the screen a bit so you see better. So we're going to put both arms up, and I'm going to imagine that we have a rope ladder up there. And I'm going to just very slowly start to climb my rope ladder. And so I'm going to reach up with one arm and inhale, and exhale down. And I'm going to reach up with the other arm and inhale, and exhale down. And so keep doing this in your own rhythm, so with following your own breath. But I'm taking a big inhale and then exhale, okay? And when I am inhaling, trying to see if you can really feel the side of the body that's stretching. So it's, for me now, the right side. And I'm seeing if I can feel all of that part, the chest, the right chest area in the inhale, and then exhale, and then again. And exhale. Exhaling through the nose. I'm doing it through the mouth just so you sort of can give you that feedback. But generally in yoga, breathing through the nose where possible. And another one. Really enjoying that side stretch. Reaching up to the sky. I'm just doing one more. And then just allowing the arms to fall back down. Okay, and we're just going to find our center again. And we're just going to move into a gentle twist now. So because we're just starting to warm up and we haven't been moving for long, we're going to do a very gentle twist to start. We're not going to do the biggest twist we can. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to put it on my right knee. Okay, if you're kneeling, then on your right thigh, I suppose. And I'm going to inhale in the center. And then we're going to gently twist around towards the right side. My hand just goes on the mat behind me. My head follows the twist, so I'm twisting the top of my back. I'm not really twisting in the lumbar spine. We're just going to stay here for a moment. My posture is nice and upright and tall. And I'm not twisting to my full capacity because I'm just doing a gentle twist for now. And take a couple of breaths here. And then now inhaling back to center. And I'm going to stay here for a moment and just recenter the body in the back before I twist to the other side. And then I'm going to place the right hand now on the left knee, and I'm going to inhale in from the center and then exhaling, twisting round the back. So when we're in a twist, although this is a gentle twist, we can still work in the twist. So as I inhale, I extend the spine and I extend the body, the torso and the head up. And as I exhale, I can slightly perhaps try twisting a little bit further. Because we're just starting and doing a gentle twist, we don't want to go far. Maybe just a few millimeters, or maybe we want to stay where we are. So this is about really listening into the body and finding what the body needs at this time. So with this kind of concentrated awareness, we can avoid harming the body. We can avoid moving in a way that might hurt us. So we inhale, extend upwards, exhale, gently twisting. And inhaling back to the center. Good, lovely. Okay, so we're going to change postures now. We've done a lot of sitting, and I'm going to move to all fours. I'm going to bring my blanket with me because I get sore knees from being on all fours, because I have a bad knee on one side. So it's really good to have a blanket ready and some cushions that you can just put on the floor. Yeah. And you can kneel on. So I'm going to come down to all fours. Okay. Yeah, you can see me quite well, I think. And so from all fours, first I'm going to pay attention to the hands. So my hands, I've got my fingers wide, and all of my hand is in contact with the ground. Okay, so if you think that in these kind of postures, my hands are my trunks. They're my stability, as are my knees, and my knees are hip width apart. And I'm going to start doing the movement of the cat and the cow. So if you don't know this, it's a dynamic movement where I stretch the back up towards the sky and look down towards the knee. And then I inhale, bring the pelvis up and the head, the eyes up. And then there's a sort of curve in the back down towards the floor. And then exhale and going back to the previous posture. And inhale. As I bring the pelvis up, lower the chest, and look up. And so this is a really nice movement, posture to mobilize the spine. And usually it's done with the breath, but if you're quite new to yoga, it can be difficult to synchronize the breath with movement. And so it's absolutely fine to just let go of the breath and move the body and just let the body breathe. The body knows how to breathe, it knows what to do. And we don't need to teach it, but when we get a little bit more confident and control in our yoga practice, we can start to synchronize movement and breath. So really just feeling into the back, the spine, the pelvis, the lower back. And then gently now coming back to neutral. And just neutralizing again here for a moment. And the next movement, we're going to bring the legs up. So we're going to inhale the right leg up and exhale it back down. And I'm going to inhale the left leg up and then exhale it down. And we're going to carry on with that. And so one of the ways I like to do this is to invite you to imagine that on the middle of the center of your pelvis, you have your favorite drink in a glass or a cup, and it's full to the brim. And your job when you do this movement is to make sure that there is no spillage. And this can really bring us into a really lovely awareness of our movement. And it helps to stabilize the pelvis, protect the lower back by engaging the abdominals, and also looking up with each move, with each time you raise your leg. And so seeing if you can reduce as much movement as possible in the pelvis. Perhaps that, for the reward of a glass of wine that might come later on, after yoga. Okay, we're now going to add our arms into this practice. So we're going to lift one leg on the opposite arm at the same time, looking up, inhaling, exhaling down again, letting go of the breath if it's not working for you. And inhaling up, one arm and one leg, my chair's in the way. Exhaling down, the trials and tribulations of Zoom. And carrying on. Inhaling up, looking up, exhaling down, still seeing how well you can stabilize the pelvis Inhaling up, exhaling down. So it's a really nice way to practice balance this posture, and also strengthening the lower back. We're going to do one more. And then we're going to sit down on our heels. Okay, and you could choose now to open the knees, and we're going to lay down the forehead onto the floor into child's pose. I'm going to let you rest there for a few moments. If your head doesn't reach the floor, or if your buttocks don't reach your heels, please put a cushion down so that you can properly rest in this posture. And so just turning the attention inwards, connecting with the breathing. It's a lovely position of rest. Okay, and gently now coming back up onto all fours. So we're going to move into a little bit of work in the back and the spine. I'm going to ask you to come down onto your elbows, okay? And just let your head lower towards the ground. Okay, so this is the quarter dog pose. And we're just going to stay here for a few moments. So in some ways it's quite nice because you can let the back hang. It's almost as if I'm hanging off the spine. And for me, there's something quite pleasant about it. But it's really important that you feel into your back and maybe not go too far. And there's a kind of movement, sort of falling towards the floor through the whole of the body, but supported with the knees and the elbows, forearms. And I can just lower the forehead down, touching or not touching the ground. Again, where's the breath? Where do you feel the breath? And now gently starting to come out, so we're coming back up into table, yeah, all fours. And now we're going to do a bit of a sequence, okay, so I'm going to show you and talk you through it. So I'm going to put my toes on the floor, and I'm going to move my buttocks and my pelvis, my coccyx back towards my heels. And as I move back towards my heels, I'm going to try to almost pop up into dog pose. So in dog pose, we're going to spend a few breaths here. Bending the knees slightly, hands and fingers are open wide, hands in really good contact with the floor. And so, to really feel this pose, it's always good to have the legs bent rather than straight. When I go straight, I lose all that space in the back. It's really nice to keep the legs bent. My heels are off the floor and I'm not trying to reach the floor. More I'm just trying to stretch a little bit backwards with the heel. And now we're going to move into plank pose, so I'm bringing my whole body forward. And I'm just resting all my weight on my hands now. I'm stretching my heels away, supporting my back with the abdominal muscles. And in a couple of breaths here. And then I'm going to lower the knees down and come down to the cobra pose. I need to bring the chest to the floor. So if you can't do this, you get down in any way you can, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to show you the pose. So I'm going to bend my elbows towards me, not out, but towards the body. And I'm going to bring the chest down to the floor, and then I'm going to come up. I'm going down a bit just to widen my hands. I prefer a wider cobra personally. Just spend a couple of breaths here. My elbows are bent, my hands are wide. I'm not as far as up as I could go because I like to be comfortable in the lower back. Exhale down to the ground. I'm going to push up and go back to child's pose. And just spend a few couple more moments here, and then we're going to do it again. So coming back up to tabletop pose and all fours, putting my toes on the floor. And I'm going to bring the buttocks back towards the heels, but without touching them. I'm going to kind of almost pop up into dog. Again, the knees are bent. Heels are off the ground. As soon as I try to put my heels down, I straighten my legs, and I don't want to do that. I lose all the space in the back and all the possibility of space in the back. So I'm moving my pelvis and my coccyx up towards the sky. And then we're going to move, exhale to plank. And I'm going to spend a couple of breaths here. Taking the knees down to the ground, and I'm going to exhale the chest down to the ground, bending the elbows backwards, and inhaling up to cobra. Again, my hands are really wide. I don't think you can quite see it, but my hands are outside the mat. Cobra typically has the hands under the shoulders. I find that incredibly uncomfortable for the lower back. Crunch, doesn't like it. My back says no. My hands outside the mat. I've got this wide, much wider, and there's much more space. I'm not going up as far, but I'm still doing cobra pose, getting the benefits of it. Exhaling down to the ground. I'm going to push up into child pose again. So just allow yourselves to rest there just for a moment. I'm going to move mine back a little bit. You can see me really well. So one more time, coming back up into the tabletop, into all fours, exhaling, taking the pelvis back and exhaling up into dog. So in dog also we just let the head rest between the arms. So we're not looking up, we're not folding right in, we're somewhere in the middle. Knees are bent. Reaching through the coccyx up towards the sky. Exhaling into plank. Couple of breaths in plank. Knees down to the ground. And now I'm going to exhale down into cobra. So I go back down again so I can now widen my arms so maybe you can see them a bit better. My arm is quite on the outside of my mat. Shoulders are relaxed and back. Jaw is relaxed. Not crunching the neck back. Exhale down and back into child's pose again. So just having a couple of breaths again in child's pose. Okay. Coming back up into tabletop, and we're going to move into standing. So I'm going to move back into dog, so taking the pelvis back towards the heel. Exhaling up into dog. Knee slightly bent here. I'm going to move my blanket. And so to come up, I'm going to take 2 steps and I'm going to join, step towards and step as close as I can towards my hands until I'm actually right by my hands, and then I'm moving into this pose where I'm just basically, my head is moving down, my pelvis is moving up, my hands reach the floor, but if they don't, then they can just hold the legs. My feet are strong, they're connected to the ground. There's a slight bend in the knees, so that helps with the lower back. And exhale the forehead down towards the knee. Each exhale, possibly just allowing the body to drop a little bit further without forcing. And then to come up, I'm going to bend the knees quite a lot and look up and put my hands on the hips, and I've got a nice straight back. To come to standing, I'm going to ask you to push through the legs and the feet and not use the strength in the back. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So, for the purpose of my classes, in this class, I'm going to ask us to avoid doing this. I don't think it's good for the lower back, and certainly when you reach a certain age, the lower back tends to get all crunched and maybe even painful. And so we've want to try and avoid making it worse. So I'm now in my standing mountain pose, Tadasana, and I'm going to open my toes as wide as I can and then place the toes on the floor. And then I'm going to see if I can stretch the heels back and just soften the knees. So I'm grounding down through the feet, growing roots into the ground. And my posture is I'm not trying to stick my chest out. I'm just reaching up through the head towards the ceiling, towards the sky. So you could even imagine a sort of a thread coming out of the crown of the head and pulling you up towards the sky. And so it's almost a feeling of creating space in the body. And we can close our eyes. We can even imagine space in the tissues and the bones and even the cells of the body. So we're not pushing or forcing, we're just allowing, relaxing the shoulders and the jaw, the eyes. We're just allowing. Now I'm inviting you to bring your hands to the chest. And so when we have the fingers wide open and the thumb, when we touch the spiritual heart, so the spiritual heart is in the center of the chest. We touch it with the thumb. This is a mudra. Mudra is a gesture, hand gesture you find in yoga. And it's called Anjali. Okay? Perhaps you can feel into the heartbeat. And we're going to take 3 breaths and move our arms. So we're going to inhale up to the sky. Exhale down. And repeat again. Inhale up, perhaps looking up at the hands. Exhale down. I'm going to do it again. Inhale up. And exhale down to the ground. Good, lovely. Okay. And now we're going to step apart. Take a wide leg stance, stepping our feet apart. Okay. And we're going to do a sequence of movements, first on the right side and then on the left side. Okay. So from here we're going to turn the right foot to the right side, and I'm going to turn the left foot in to about 30 degrees. So they're not parallel, but I'm not at 90 degrees, I'm a little bit more in. And the width depends a little bit on your structure, your flexibility, your posture. Okay. You might want to, if you go wider, you will need more stability and strength. If you go a bit close together, you need less. And from here, I'm going to take my hands and put them on the heart center. And every time when I'm going to inhale here, and on the exhale, I'm going to bend my right leg and stretch my arms out. And exhale to warrior 2. Look towards the right side. Inhale to center. Exhale out. So making this a little bit dynamic. Inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale back to center. And last time we're going to now hold for 3 breaths. So I'm looking towards the right hand and my front knee is bent, not too much further than the toes. And my left hip is slightly trying to move outwards. A couple more breaths. If you want to go deeper, then you scope the legs further and you bend further. And now to the second part of this, I'm going to take my forearm down to my knee. And I'm going to stretch my left arm up to the sky. Stretch my left arm up to the sky. If you've got no problems with the neck, you can swivel the head and look at the hand. If you have problems with the neck, look in front of you or look down. I'm going to look in front of me so I can see you and keep that knee bent. And breathe. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to inhale back up to center. And I'm going to turn the right hand up. Take the left palm to the left thigh. And I'm going to bring that arm towards the head and exhale and bend. So now I'm reaching and stretching towards my back leg. So throughout this sequence, my back leg is really, really strong. My feet are very much in contact with the ground. And a couple more breaths. Keeping that front knee bent. Inhale up to center. Exhale the arms down. Bring the feet back to parallel. Okay. So we're going to do a forward bend before we do the other side. So I'm going to put my hands on my hips for this. My feet are parallel and my toes are even a tiny, tiny bit facing inwards. And I'm going to reach up through my ankles towards my hips. And then I'm going to reach up towards the sky with my torso and my head. And inhale. And exhale down to center. Keep looking up. Stay here for a moment. Back as straight as possible. Feet strong. And then I'm going to exhale my hands down to the floor. And now walking your hands in and just allowing the head to fall down towards the ground. Hands are sort of in the center, in the middle of the legs. Feet, legs strong. You may find your weight has fallen back to your heels, so just bringing the weight a little bit into the center of the foot. And every exhale, just allowing the torso of the body to drop down. Relax the neck. Relax the head. And now gently starting to walk the hands forward, in front of you, and looking up. Bending the knees slightly, hands on the hips, back nice and straight. And as we did before, really pushing through the feet and inhaling up. Exhale. Wonderful, fantastic. Now I'm going to turn the left leg to the left side. And I'm going to turn the right leg in a bit. So, and I'm just preparing my legs. So I might want to choose a wider stance or slightly less wide. Hands to the center of the chest. And inhaling in. Exhaling, coming into Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2, this is. And I'm going to inhale to center. Exhale to Warrior 2. Once again. Exhale again to Warrior 2. Last time. Exhaling into Warrior 2, stretching the arms, looking towards the left hand. And really deciding, well, how far down do I want my bend to be? What's comfortable? Listening to your body. Breathing. Taking the forearm down to the knee that's bent, keeping that bend in the knee, stretching the hand to the sky now. Twisting the head to look at the hand, if that feels okay, comfortable. And you, depending on how much you want to work this posture, you might want to bend a bit more, a bit less. So finding where you're, for me in yoga, finding where I'm sort of not quite at my limit, but near. And then playing with that, so moving towards and away from my limits without any forcing or pushing. Inhaling back up, dropping the right hand to the right thigh, palm upwards, inhaling towards me, exhaling, bend the front knee. So this is a reverse warrior, and I can twist the head to look at the inside elbow, or just look to the side. So I'm looking at the side so I can look at you. Breathing here. So to come out of this pose, we're going to do something different. So we're going to kind of come all the way, taking the arm all the way down to the ground, take the other arm down too, and I'm going to push back to my dog pose. Knees bend. And this time I'm going to walk the dog, so I'm going to bend one knee, straighten the other, and you can do this with the breath, or just let the breath be. I'm just walking my dog, so I'm just really moving into the stretch. It's quite nice to do it on an inhale and an exhale. If the back rounds, don't worry, it doesn't matter. Then coming into stillness in the posture, reaching up through the coccyx, through the spine, towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Knees bend. Breathe. Exhale down the knees to the ground. Taking just a moment in the kneeling posture. So now we're going to come back down to our seated posture. I'm going to take my cushion, have it beside me. I'm not going to use it quite yet, but in a minute. Okay. And I'm going to come and stretch my leg out in front of me. Okay. And then with my hands, I'm going to slightly move backwards. My fingers are facing forward. My toes are pulled towards me, so my legs are working. And my hands comfortably behind me, fingers facing forward. And I'm going to push down through my hands and allow the chest to open. This is a nice but gentle chest opening posture. There's a gentle back bend. And I'm not working in my lower spine. My lower spine is completely neutral and relaxed. I'm just working into my upper back. And the head could fall backwards. It could just be slightly looking up or chin forward. I don't tend to put my head back because my cervical spine, my neck, doesn't like it. It feels too crunchy and sore. And it's not a posture I would do. But again, it's listening into your body. So just taking a few breaths and really inhaling, opening the chest. Exhaling. And one more. Gradually coming out of this posture, move forward, and now I'm going to take my cushion again so I can have a bit of support in my back and my lower spine. Okay. And so we're going to do a forward fold. So we did this standing, now we're doing it sitting. Same posture, in a different place. So I sent a picture to my Spanish yoga group the other day of what we're trying to do, what we'd like to achieve when we do this pose. And this is again for the well-being of our lower back. Okay, so lots of people, when they do this pose, just around the back and go down. And if we do this, we probably find it quite uncomfortable. But also, we're not really doing very much. What we want to do is really try to stretch the lower back. So to do this, we can pull our arms up to the sky. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to move from the hips down towards my legs. Now, because I haven't really done a little bit of yoga, I'm not very, my back is quite cold, so I'm not able to go down very far at the moment, and that's okay. So my chest is open, so I'm not rounding the back, I'm working from the hips, and it's almost like I'm bringing my lower belly towards my knees. And I'm actually moving forwards rather than down. My toes are towards me, my legs are working. So with each in-breath, we can just lengthen the spine. And with each exhale, I'm going to move a little bit more. If you've reached your limit, then stop. But if you feel there's more, really thinking about stretching the lower back. I'm not going to bring my head down at all, because at the moment I feel quite tight in my back, so I'm not even going to try. So I don't force it. If you have lower back problems, you should probably bend your knees slightly in this posture to protect the lower back. So if you have a hernia, or pain, even if it's not actually something, a diagnosis, if you're not sure, the best way to protect the lower back is to bend the knees. I recommend you do that. Inhale, extend, exhale down. The hands are just falling on the floor beside the legs. It could be on the knees, it could be grabbing the big toe, but that takes me more into that rounded back posture. And for now, because I'm not warm enough, I need to keep my hands here. Coming out, just pushing with the hands, and gently pushing the body back up to center. And we're going to come in down to lying, so we're now moving towards our relaxation. So just inviting you to lie on the floor with the legs bent. And before we go move into our relaxation, we're going to do a little bit of a bridge pose. This is called bridge or Setu Bandhasana. So I've got my feet about a palm away from my buttocks, and my feet are hip width apart and really nicely connected to the ground. So I'm opening the toes, stretching the foot, stretching the sole of the foot, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the jaw. And to come up, I want you to focus your attention on your feet. So rather than pull yourself up by your hips, which is quite common, I'm going to invite you to try it a different way and push down into the floor so hard as if you were trying to stand up until the hips just float up. They might not float up very far. And then push again, working through the thighs, pushing down through the feet, just letting the hips gently rise. There's no pushing in the lower back. And if you do, take your attention out to the lower back and see if you can relax it. The buttocks are working somewhat, and you could open the arms up towards the head, resting them on the ground. And again, pushing down through the feet. So it's almost as if I'm trying to stand up. And my hips and my lower back are completely relaxed. They're just responding to what I'm doing in the feet. And feeding your shoulders into the ground, so really connecting through the shoulders as well. The heart center is also relaxed. I'm not pushing my chest out. Taking a few breaths in. And gently now, exhale, coming back down, and just allowing the spine to meet the floor, vertebra by vertebra, all the way down until the whole of the spine is in contact with the ground. Letting the feet go. Inhaling the knees up to the chest. Exhaling the knees to the right side, towards the ground into a twist. Allowing the head to twist to the other side. And coming into a passive spinal twist. Just here allowing the bottom hip to really relax and let go. The legs, both hips, the head, the shoulders. And now inhaling the knees up to the center. And exhaling them down towards the left side. And just moving into this lovely spinal twist, passive spinal twist. Just allowing everything to fall away. We're really letting go. Taking a few breaths here. Inhaling up to center. And just checking if you need to do anything else with your body, any other movement before you move into the relaxation. So I'm going to now sit up and come back towards the screen and just gently guide you very, very, very lightly into a relaxation. So you're wanting to lie down. Okay. So Shavasana, which means corpse. So the corpse pose. So we get some kind of idea of what kind of pose this is. We're not moving very much, we're staying still. Usually we're on our back and looking up. I'm just inviting you to maybe find socks, jumpers, blankets, whatever you need, cushion for the head, whatever you need to relax. Okay, perhaps you might want to dim the lights. So we're going to do a short relaxation before we finish the class. So now just finding your spot, finding your position, and inviting you to close the eyes and come into the body lying on the floor. Taking a few moments to become aware of the breath. Feeling the ground beneath the body. Perhaps gently becoming aware of the mind. Busy with thoughts, perhaps calmer. Any emotions present for you here? Now inviting you to relax the body, so finding, perhaps feeling the legs and the feet, relaxing, letting go. The legs, the feet, the lower body. Relaxing the pelvis, the hips, lower back. Letting go of all tension. Letting go of the whole of the back, shoulder blades, backs of the shoulders, the backs of the arms. Letting go of the wrists and the hands. The fingers. Relaxing the stomach, the belly, the abdomen. Letting go. Relaxing the chest, the ribs, the shoulders. Moving to the face, letting go of the jaw, perhaps even opening the mouth slightly, the tongue. Allowing the eyes to rest in the back of the head, the scalp, feeling the head and letting it go, heavy, gravity pulling it down. Now gently we're starting to come back. So perhaps just gently starting to move the fingers and the toes. And I'm going to invite you to start to move very, very slowly and roll over to the right side. So rather than sitting up straight away, Coming out of Savasana slowly, so we're moving from one state of being into another. Keeping the eyes closed. And now still, if you can, with the eyes closed, gradually starting to move into a seated position. Keeping the eyes closed. Now we're going to bring our hands together and rub them together hard. And then we're going to place them over the eyes. And just gently, gradually open the eyes. Pulling the hands away from the eyes as we come back to the room, to seated. So I'm just going to say thank you very much. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed this hour of mindful yoga. And I have loads of very big fly things flying around me. Yeah, it was really good to try this out for me. It was my first time in this way. So any feedback is really welcome. And I hope you will join me next week. Okay, have a great evening or a great day. And take care. Thanks.